Hi Sagittarius, welcome to the new moon and solar eclipse in Aries for April 20th, 2023. New moons bring in new cycles, and this new moon cycle can go anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 months because of the solar eclipse. So do keep that in mind, as well as, I guess, the very beginning of your new cycle that can go on for that long. So as a theme for the first 2 weeks and maybe the 6 months, you have the Fool card, which is it's pure potential as far as I'm concerned. It's pure potential. New beginnings, a new adventure, a leap of faith, a fresh start, and freedom. And who doesn't love that? Especially a Sagittarius. So, sometimes it can be making foolish choices, but for me, I think it's pure potential. And within that potential, you have the option to make mistakes and to learn from them, as well as learn from the things that do go right. So potential is found in anything that you experience during this, with the Fool card. In general, anyway, but we'll keep it to the Fool. So let's see what's coming in for you. Your next new cycle brings in the Seven of Pentacles. This is definitely perseverance. You've come to a point in your, see the ant? That's cooperative efforts, by the way, and also a great strength. Ants can carry 200 times their own weight, but they are cooperative beings. So you have ant medicine with you. Anyway, perseverance, which an ant would definitely do, right? They know the deal. They know where to find the goods, and they just keep on going. Seven of Pentacles, there can be some editing or refinement to a situation that, you're pretty much in further stages with this, right? You have already a yield. You're waiting for things to ripen, but you've planted and sown and watered and grown, and now it's just at the point of ripening. And so we come to a point where, like, okay, I'm getting ready to do something now. What's next? Right? And do I continue on planting the same thing? Do I want to switch it up? If I do switch it up, what do I add? What do I subtract? It's that kind of energy, Seven of Pentacles. But it is very much the idea of where do I go from here? And the Fool would say that there's probably a new adventure or a new potential around the corner, which, with the World card, there absolutely is. So the next 2 weeks to 6 months, you're probably going to be finishing up a cycle. You're going to be finishing up this seventh cycle, where the world is saying that you are closing out a major cycle and starting something new. But there's little things that you have to do before you completely leave this behind. Well, things have to ripen, and you have to pick your fruits, and then you have to sell them, etc., etc., or make a pie, whatever. The World card is saying you're kind of in this protective little spiritual box as you finish up this particular cycle. And that can mean kind of blockages, right? You're ready to move on, but there's still things that you have to do. But you have graduated. This is definitely a graduation card. Some people may actually be graduating, or finishing up a study, or finishing up a cycle and moving on to the next level. So it's very much a level up kind of card, the World. Now this can also be travel. It can also be world issues. Okay, let's move on, and I'll get more clarification where that's concerned. Okay, so you are behaving, or you are you're feeling some emotional instability. There can be some regrets that you've had along this journey. maybe a few things didn't go as you hoped they would, and you're really kind of mourning that a little bit too much when the Five of Cups appears, because it's throwing your emotions off balance. And this card asks you to pivot and see what is still good and what is still fulfilling emotionally in the situation. You can be thinking about friendships. For me, the Six of Cups is really a sweet card. It's quite caring, but it's platonic. And maybe you had hoped it would be more. That's very possible. Could be unwanted advice that was given. But here's the interesting thing. The Five of Cups, 5 is the number of, it's the frequency of instability. It's the roller coaster ride and the things that changeability, and maybe that's something you're not quite happy with. Maybe you don't like things changing, or maybe it's too much of a big change, and there is a lot of change in the world right now. So, we could be looking at that. But the Six of Cups, so the 5 pushes you. It's that divine discontent that pushes you to find balance. And you find it here with the Six of Cups, right? 5, 6. 6 is balance, and that could come through very friendly people. But it could also be that through you sharing on an emotional level, on a friendly level, that you can find fulfillment. You can find that balance. We'll get more on that in a minute. And I will say this about Sagittarius. They are the friend sign. If you want a friend, you can find a good one in Sagittarius for sure. Okay. And you have here the Two of Cups, right? So this is romantic relationships and partnerships and bonds of all kinds. And maybe there is some distance here where the world is concerned. The person can be further away, or there is emotional distance, but there is a feeling of distance. But the Two of Cups can bring people together, right? Your heart's desire is mirrored through somebody else, but they could be very opposite. 2 is always duality, right? And so they can be very different from you, and there has to be some sort of resolution between the two to make the bond better or stronger. And because you have the caduceus here, it's a very healing energy, and a bond or something. It feels like there has to be some sort of healing within a partnership for it to get a little bit better. And maybe it does with that kind of Six of Cups card, because it's really sweet. And there is a genuine caring that you have with this person. And you have the Tower card there. So whatever in the situation, whatever was in the partnership that wasn't firm, that wasn't strong enough, kind of crumbles away. And you're left with, again, a structure or a foundation that you can rebuild upon, but on solid ground. And that's why I say I think that that there needs to be sort of a resolution or a way to heal this bond. It's the resolving of differences. It's the resolving of opposing energy, of duality. get some clarification. All right, here you have the Ten of Swords. So something did come to an end. And simultaneously, there's also a new beginning. And with the Ten of Swords, we're kind of looking for some peace of mind. And your perspective is really important here, because with the Ten of Swords, is the sun setting or is it rising? That is, half empty, half full kind of situation. But again, we're looking at the end of a cycle, no matter whether it's a relationship that is finished or a phase in a relationship is finished. In any case, it can't continue on the way it's happening now. Something has to give, something has to change. And the frequency of 10 is obviously an ending while simultaneously beginning something new. And that's why I say there can be a repair here, and it may come quite unexpectedly. This is the end of difficult mental situations. Yeah, see, there was a breakup or separation, and we're healing from that. Because the Two of Swords is the cut. The Three of Swords is the beginning of the healing of that. Tears are a great catharsis where this is concerned, but there is this feeling of separateness. But again, it feels like things can be repaired here. Very interesting. And a lot of this is on a mental level, right? The swords are your mental activity and action. But there's no action being taken here other than I surrender, I give up. I'm done. I'm just looking for peace of mind right now. It's almost like you didn't expect to hear from this person, but here they come. Here it is again, right? Knight of Wands is my messenger card. And that's what I mean by the Tower. There's something unexpected that kind of comes in. And the Knight of Wands is an energy of, it's an erratic energy. So it's almost like, wow, I didn't expect that, or here they are. And it can be a different person altogether that you are dealing with, because you do have a new adventure, but it can be a new adventure with the same person. So they can be coming back around again unexpectedly, like you just didn't see it coming. I do want to pull one more for that and see what the Knight brings in. Yeah. I think it kind of depends on what you want, Sagittarius, because yeah, there is absolutely a new beginning with the Magician, but it's your vision. And so sort of, I would say this, if they do come back, if that person does kind of come back into your life, the Magician card is saying, what does each person want? It kind of has to be stated. It has to be put out there. What's your vision for this relationship? Does it match? Can we do it? And the choices that we make along the way will be reflected in your original vision. It's like checks and balances. Well, we're doing this. Is this part of our original vision? Is this part of what we set down as a guideline for this relationship? And again, this can be romantic. I think it is. It feels romantic to me. But it can be business as well. But honestly, it feels romantic to me. And I'm not quick to say those things, so it does feel that way. So it's kind of almost like correspondence. News comes in from out of nowhere that revives the situation, or at the very least, talks are on the table when the Magician appears. Okay, so again, 2 to 6 months, or 2 weeks to 6 months, and um, it looks really good. But I would say with the Magician card there, you have to know what it is you want. You have to have a vision. You have to have a concept of what this bond or this partnership will be, and it has to be mutually agreed upon. Or rather, it should be, right? Doesn't have to. You can do whatever you want. But the Tower card is definitely epiphanies, things that were unexpected, and rebuilding on solid ground. But this takes your Fool, your potential, to the next level with the Magician, because that is now, okay, we have pure potential. Anything can happen, right? Narrowing it down to that choice of, this is my vision. This is my concept of the perfect relationship, or the relationship I'd like to have. Um, and to see if it's mutually agreed upon. And again, always balances and checks to see if we're on the same page, if this is the right. I know it sounds like work, but relationships are work. That's just all there is to it. So you're kind of always comparing this relationship maybe to your ideal, to your concept, to your vision of what that is. What does Spirit want you to know? Well, you're the Seven of Cups. So these are possibilities, right? These are, can be, it can be wishful thinking, can be castles, made of clouds in the sand or whatever, not as firm as you would like them to be. Choices, but possibly confusion within those choices, or fantastic ideas or fantasies or that sort of thing. It's the 7 planets that have each something to offer you. And you kind of have to make a choice. You can't have all 7 of them. You can try, but it's very doubtful. 7 comes up twice. 7 is the number that is, they say, closest to God. Because there's an energy of, well, it's, first of all, it's associated with the planet Uranus, so that's surprises, right? Or loftier, kind of unexpected things. And so maybe it feels to me like there is something that is quite unexpected. And it can also be that you're recovering from the relationship that you had, and all of a sudden somebody new comes along, and then there's potential where that's concerned, and it came in quite unexpectedly. And then you have a choice to make. Do I continue on with this person and try and make things good, or is there somebody else that can possibly fulfill my desires? And that's very possible because of the 3 of Swords there, which is a third person, a third party. That's possible. And the third party is somebody who can actually maybe help to balance things out, balance your emotions out, and bring something sweet in. But again, for me, the 6 of Cups is very friendly. It's platonic. The 2 of Cups, however, isn't. That's a bond. That's something different. Okay. I'm going to leave it there. We'll get more information as we continue on within the 6 months, I think. But this gives you kind of a general idea, and it could be just finishing out in the 2 to 4 week period. But there is something, I think, here that will move beyond that. And I'm not going to say that it looks easy, I think there are a lot of things that you have to move through, but there will be some surprises along the way, and I do have the feeling that because of the Fool, right, there's pure potential here. So I leave nothing to chance with this. I think an old relationship can still have potential, but there's also potential for something new if you want it. In any case, I think what is the most important and the takeaway here is that vision, right? What is it that I want? Know what you want in a person, in a relationship, in a partnership, in a bond. And you check and balance with that all the time. There has to be give and take in a relationship because the other person obviously has their own checks and balances and vision for a relationship too. And that can't be overlooked, or you won't have a partnership. It can't just be you. Okay. I hope this has been helpful, Sagittarius. I will return in 2 weeks for the full moon reading. And in the meantime, I do dailies. And thank you for listening. It's much appreciated. Take good care.